Hello, and thank you for joining me on today's video blog. So today we're going to discuss something that's really a hot topic right now, especially as we're going into the spring selling season. Winter's almost behind us, and that is, what should I do to prepare my home for sale? So when you are looking to prepare your home for sale, there's really three main things that we want to focus on. Number one is your first impression. This is your curb appeal. This is, what does your house or what does your property look or feel like when you're driving up to it? Now, if you've got a condo, there's a good chance that you can't necessarily change that much, but there are things that you can do which apply to both. So with a house, you want to make sure that your front door looks fantastic. If there's a bunch of dead plants outside from plants you had last year, let's go ahead and remove those. It can be a great opportunity to invest in some fake or some manufactured silk plants. Great thing you can get off of Amazon. Great opportunity to make sure your door is painted and looks nice, that it's not beat up, chipped, dirty. Even if you have a condo, that's something you can do with your condo as well. So first impressions, make sure that the curb appeal is fantastic. If it is a time that it's snowing, I know it's not fun, but make sure that the sidewalks are all cleaned off. Make sure that everything is looking up to date, looking like it's taken care of. So number one is the exterior of your house, and that's the curb appeal. Number two, similar now, only it's the first impressions when you walk in the front door. Typically what we talk about when we're coaching our clients along is, what does your property look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? And what does it feel like? So we want to make sure that when a consumer or potential buyer comes into your property, they are thinking to themselves about the space, about how they can put their furniture in there, about how they can make it look the way that they want it to. So that's where, number one, decluttering. Most of us, when you buy a property, you end up filling up the space that you have. And so start acting like you're going to be moving. So boxing up things that are not necessary. This is why we offer a complimentary staging consultation, so that we can guide our clients, guide our sellers on what to pack away so that their house seems more open and airy. Because what we find is that when you've got really cool stuff and lots of it, people have a tendency to focus more on the stuff and less on the property, which takes me to another point. You may have heard a lot that you need to depersonalize everything, and that, in my opinion, is false. However, you do need to depersonalize it enough. And the example that I always use is, I legitimately had a home seller in a suburb of Denver called Highlands Ranch, and when you walk into their house, beautiful home, and they had this 2-story great room, and above the fireplace was a 6-foot painting that was a photo of their wedding turned into a painting. So as you walked in, all you saw was this couple staring down at you, and it was a beautiful painting, but it was a little ominous, and it made you feel like people were watching you. So we recommended they take that down. Or if you have any walls of just family photos, take about 2/3 of those photos down, and then maybe swap out the picture, instead of a family photo, with a scenery photo, with something kind of fun, kind of a designer looking photo. And it's really easy to find these things online, and that's again what our stager will help you with. So the inside of your house, make sure it's decluttered, make sure it's depersonalized a good amount, but not 100%. People are expecting that people live there. And then the third thing is, what special features about your property stand out? Most neighborhoods have more than one home for sale. So how can we make sure that we are going to point out those items that are potential upgrades in your property? Sometimes that's making a feature card because you spent more money on your cabinets so that they fully extend and they have soft close drawers. Perhaps you have something like a tankless hot water heater that really just gives you that forever hot water heat, and that folks may not notice right away. This is also a time where, when we talk about pointing out something special, for a vacant property, the downside of a vacant property is that not only can they see everything special, but they can see everything that's imperfect. And in Colorado, I have yet to see a house that's over 10 years old that doesn't have a wave in the floor somewhere, that doesn't have something that's not ideal. And with a vacant property, people have a really hard time gauging the space of how big it actually is. And that's when we strongly recommend that we bring in a stager. And we partner with some great third-party stagers, because you have a tendency then where the folks walk in, they see this beautiful home, which is why all new build properties are staged. And they're not just kind of staged, they're impeccably staged. So then you don't notice every little feature about the property, like any dings in the baseboards, because you're too busy looking at the pretty stuff that they have there. So in wrapping up, focus on the outside and that first impression. focus on the inside and making it seem as airy and spacious as possible. And the third thing, focus on those special features in your property and of course in your community that folks might not see or know when they're just walking through the tour of the home. You do these things and I guarantee you're going to get more value for your property. So I hope you've gotten some value out of today's video blog. If you have questions about any of these things, if you're thinking about selling anytime in the next 1 to 2 years, let us know because we'd be happy to stop by, give you just a complimentary consultation on some quick little things that you could plan to do so that you will be prepared when the time comes for you to sell your property. So again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video blog.